Hello, everybody. Andy Jacob here with the DotCom Magazine Entrepreneur Spotlight Series. I have a great show today. I've been waiting for a number of weeks for this guest to come on the show. When we talk about DotCom Magazine and we talk about what's going on in the world today, the one thing that drives it all, of course, is IT. And it's so important to bring experts in that field on the show so that they can share not only what they're doing, but help you improve your business as an entrepreneur, as a small to mid-sized business owner, as a large business owner, as an Inc. 5,000 business owner or a Fortune 100 business owner. It's so important that you partner with the right people when it comes to IT. So we've been able to invite a worldwide leading expert on the show today. His name is Austin Goddard. And of course, he is the president of partner success and business development at a company you may have heard of, gTECHserv, and he's also the managing partner as well. We have so many questions for him. It's an honor to have him on the show. Austin, welcome to the DotCom Magazine Entrepreneur Spotlight Series today.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure being here.
It's great to have you on the show. Of course, your business offers code managed environments, enterprise class tools for your clients. We have so many questions. Before we get into it, though, let's pull the lens back to 30,000 feet. Tell us what you do at gTECHserv, and then we're going to get into it.
Absolutely. We help small and medium-sized businesses and business owners secure, manage, and maintain their IT networks to the level, whether it be HIPAA, ITAR, ISO, NIST, whether to meet all those cybersecurity requirements as well. Just make sure that they're staying secure and they keep track of all their users' data and devices to ensure that everything is secure.
Yeah, it's so interesting, Austin. You help so many companies. The reviews are remarkable. Of course, you help, IT departments streamline. You help, in the compliance area, the security area. And of course, you're known for network maintenance. You do such a great job there. When a company reaches out to you, Austin, what does that first conversation look like? What are they looking for help?
Yeah, first conversations are typically just doing the network assessment to understand exactly what they have. So many out-of-the-box solutions that businesses deploy come with features and security issues kind of baked in, where ports could be left open, configurations could be misconfigured, and could leave companies unknowingly vulnerable. So the first step is really just getting that good report card of the network by doing a network assessment and looking under the hood of what is deployed, how are they maintaining it, and what level of security they have deployed already.
Yeah, it's so interesting. I want to get into security with you. I have so many questions about that. But one thing that your company has become very, very well known for is the efficiency and the immediate response that you're able to give your clients. Some of the testimonials are incredible. A lot of people, when they look at their system, oftentimes they have an urgent need, and you guys are right there. Johnny on the spot, you guys get it done. Where does this come from your company corporate culture about getting things done quickly and efficiently for your clients?
That's a great question, and we're very proud of the service that we provide to our customers. The first thing that we do is we leverage our tool sets and the automation that is available today. So being able to monitor and maintain the environments before the issues come up and be able to resolve issues before the end clients even know that an issue has taken place or a service has stopped or a server has gone down, to be able to be immediately notified of that and get those services back up and running before they even initiate the phone call. And that enables us to be able to have our support team free to work tickets as quickly as possible. So typically within just a couple minutes, we have your support, our client support requests over to a technician working and resolved. So it's our customers are very happy. So
I love it. Of course, let's get back to that. Let's get back to that sort of first onboarding phone call, the onboarding sort of process, what you put the clients in. When we talk about that first call and they have a problem or they need some help, and whether it's compliance, security, network maintenance, something like that. How long does it take for the engagement? Typically, I know that every single company has a different sort of set of needs that they need, but when we think about it, Austin, how long does it take for your onboarding to happen for your company?
Thank you so much. That's a great question. A typical onboarding is anywhere from 2 to 3 weeks, depending on how complex and how diverse the network is, especially if it's a manufacturing plant or a law enforcement plant that might have some, or a law enforcement agency that might have some OT side of the house, so operational technology, making sure that those networks are separated and making sure that, everything is indexed and identified on the network. So typically our probes take anywhere from, we want to make sure that the probes have enough time to discover everything in the network. So the onboarding process takes anywhere from 2 to 3 weeks, and that's for us to build a baseline, make sure all backups have been put in place. We have good backups before we start making any changes, because, as any IT professional knows, is when Microsoft pushes out those patches or any other vendor pushes out patches, things sometimes break. So you have to test and make sure everything is you have a good foundation. So ensuring that all those things get put in place, that if we need to do rollbacks, if we need to take a step back and reassess, we don't put the companies or our customers in any type of issues with a update that we're applying or a change that we're making, taking something down. So 2 to 3 weeks really takes is our standard window of onboarding, and then after that, it's smooth sailing typically. So
yeah, I love it. They really lean on you. They lean into you, as the expert when they need that additional assistance, that additional firepower. Let's talk about the probes. You mentioned the probes. Let's talk about that. How does that work? And for the people that don't know what that is, maybe we could explain that at a high level.
Absolutely. So just like Google or any other web provider, they use tools that go out and crawl the internet. Our probe does the same thing on your internal network. So we access it from the server or from your network, from a network device, and it just goes out and calls out to all the available IP addresses, all the available ports, comes back and reports to us all the services, computers, everything that has an IP address, anything that's connected to your network and could potentially have access to your corporate data. We get back a full report of it. The reports can be massive sometimes. So it's thankfully they're all digital, or else we'd be cutting down a lot of trees. But we get all the information back on exactly who and what are on your network. And it enables us to be able to ask that question of, hey, are these users still active? Are these computers still relevant in your environment? And if so, why? If not, why are they still on the network? And being able to develop that action plan to either retire them or upgrade them. So ensuring that the networks are always on the latest versions is very important. And that probe is kind of a very easy, non-impactful way to just index everything that's on the network. So.
Yeah, very interesting, Austin. Of course, you have the gFactor Pro, and that really can help a company or an IT department of a company that reaches out to you. And of course, there's companies that already have an IT department, but they reach out to other experts. And the IT departments oftentimes, for the younger entrepreneurs watching the show, reach out to experts to sort of solidify their current IT department. So with this gFactor Pro, how does it help with security, compliance, and network maintenance from a high level?
Yeah. So what we've learned over our 22 plus years of being in business and all of our collective knowledge is that an IT department needs to have enterprise class tools, good solid secure tool sets to maintain and manage the network and to automate and offload the repetitive tasks of maintaining a network, so that way they can focus on growing the business, implementing new technology, helping solve complex IT issues that might require new software or researching something. So internal IT departments, if they're having every single month, they have to go around and make sure every single computer is patched. Every patch Tuesday, things break, things get pushed out, as well as just staying up to date with security, with hacks. Every single day, my phone blows up with a new Microsoft breach or a firewall breach or a new vendor that's been found out on the dark web. So ensuring that all these things are always staying patched and up to date can become very monotonous and mundane for internal IT departments. And if they don't have the tool sets, that can be where they spend the majority of their time, which is not helping the business grow and improve. It's just maintaining the company. So our tool sets, the gFactor Pro tool set, it comes in and it takes all that information. It holds everything from our XDR with Sentinel-1 to our patch management solution, encryption, email spam filtering, everything that a company would need to ensure that their computers, their network, and their users are safe. And then gTECHserv is managing and maintaining those things and allows internal IT departments to then focus on maintaining and growing the business, opposed to just repetitively going through and patching and making sure that every computer is secure. So,
yeah, Austin, it's great. Your tool sets are world class. You keep on updating them and making them the best in class. Let's talk about the breach. I mean, there's a word that sort of scares people left and right, and no matter what business you're in, when you think about those breaches, I mean, that could be the difference between, running a successful business and having a giant problem, of course.
Absolutely.
You're an expert in security. So let's talk about it. I mean, when we talk about these small to mid-sized companies, of course, the big companies as well, how important is it to use the right tool sets to make sure that the breaches are continually patched and that we don't have major problems within these IT systems?
Absolutely. That's a great question. Cybersecurity insurance is one of the biggest tools that the insurance industry is selling today to help protect businesses in the event that a breach occurs. The issue then, or a lot of times, if you don't read that fine print, if you're not maintaining your network to the standard that your cybersecurity insurance provider is requiring, you might not be eligible for a cybersecurity payout if there is an event, if the network has not been maintained to their level. So ensuring that you understand what your cybersecurity insurance liabilities are, and maintaining them to that level is incredibly important, because oftentimes if a business, it's the sad fact that if a business suffers a data breach, it's very hard to come back from that, not only from the loss of productivity and revenue from being down for a couple of days, but also the loss of reputation. Building a reputation in a reputable company to ensure that your business, that your clients feel comfortable handing over sensitive data or even giving payment information is incredibly important. And if your company is known to be have had a breach, it could be an issue with your customers. So that reputation. So ensuring that cybersecurity is in place and maintained and always updated is incredibly important and challenging for small business owners, especially those small to medium-sized business owners that are wearing multiple hats. So I hope that answered your questions.
Yeah, it's really interesting that you mentioned that, and you really open up a lot of thought, from the people watching the show, myself as well. A lot of people invest in this insurance, but if you're not keeping your system up to the high level that is expected, then, God forbid you do get a breach and you do have a major problem, you can't collect on the insurance because they're going to say you didn't keep the system up to speed. So very interesting. Austin, coming up to this interview, one thing that's very, interesting for our viewers and an area that you're an expert in, I know that you also offer something very interesting at the company. You offer a free report for companies that, want to know if their data is being sold on the dark web. I mean, this is crazy when you think about it. There's so much data going left and right and up and down and through the, airways and through the air that you can't even see. Let's talk about that a little bit. Let's talk about the dark web. I mean, for the people that don't really get it, what's that all about? And how does data from companies end up getting sold on that dark web?
Yeah. So the dark web is really just, we all actually have access parts of it. It's not really any different than the real internet, than the normal internet that we access. It's just not indexed on Google. It's private information. They're private servers. The same way that if a company gives you a VPN on your laptop and you're connecting to your company's resources remotely, that's almost like being on the dark web. It's private. If you don't know the passwords, if you don't know the information, you can't access your corporate data. So it's basically the same way, just peer to peer, people sharing information, and it's just not being indexed and searchable on the normal web. So what happens is a lot of the times businesses suffer a data breach. Their user lists are leaked. Whether that be somebody as simple as big as Facebook to some small mom and pop shop down the road, and those usernames and passwords are gathered and sold to in big lists of people who are just trying to maybe steal identities, open fraudulent credit cards, or try to hack into company systems. And what this monitoring tool, what this free assessment does, is it goes out and it searches these dark web forums. It's a service that the actual team is they're breaking into, or they're being invited into, and they're purchasing these lists to review and understand, hey, who is out here, who is what data is being sold, and we notify our customers if any of their accounts associated with those third-party sites are being sold on the dark web. The reason that's so important is that if I were to take my corporate email address and sign up for a third-party site that I have no control, whether or not the security, the encryption, I don't know anything about them. Let's just, for example, I sign up with my company account on Facebook.com, and Facebook suffers a data breach. If I've used that same password, if I've repeated one of my passwords that I use on my corporate network, then my company email address or my company resources could be at risk. And if the company doesn't have a written policy going back to show that every end user has been informed that don't repeat passwords, don't use your company email address for any services that are not business related, if those types of the business side of IT, writing those policies and ensuring that your end users in your employee handbook have been told how and when and where they may use their technology, have not been clearly laid out, cybersecurity insurance might have a problem, or heaven forbid, a data breach occurs because those users repeated passwords. Human nature, we can only hold so many passwords in our head. And if you're not using a password manager or something, then the likelihood of somebody slipping up and repeating a password is incredibly likely. And just that first early detection is incredibly important. So that's a free tool that we offer all of our anybody, whether it be an individual email or any business, if they want to get a report on if there's any breaches out there associated with their email address, we provide this to them as a public service.
Wow, that's incredible. Of course, you also are a veteran-owned business, and you're doing so much good. I mean, really this online, this really becomes a battle between sort of the good guys wearing the white hats and the bad guys wearing the black hats, to be honest with you. And it's just a constant battle. Now, let's talk about this, because what a lot of people might not even know is that some companies have someone that comes on staff. They call them the safety director. I mean, they're just in charge of, the safety of the entire network. Those safety directors sometimes get into a bind. They reach out to you because they need to elevate their mindset and what their tools are. So let's talk about that. You work directly with the safety directors quite often, and what does that look like?
Yeah, the CISOs, or the chief cybersecurity inspection, or cybersecurity officers, or the safety directors, working with them, providing them the audits to ensure that their IAM strategy, their identity and access management strategy, is being followed, to ensure that their network is not unnecessarily open for listening ports or remote access ports. So being able to do that external evaluation, the penetration tests, to see what can we see on your network? without informing any of your users? Can we kick off a phishing simulation to your users to see how do they perform? How do they recognize that this is potentially a scam email, or do they actually open the email and click the link, put it in their information, and then following up with that with training back to the end users? So we have full catalog of email-based training. It includes an embedded video with a follow-up small quick questionnaire to ensure that if you want to tell them, hey, watch this video about why you have to keep a clean desk. No writing passwords on sticky notes and putting them under your monitor, right? Ensure that if you're out in public, make sure that people aren't standing over your shoulder and just looking at your screen. And if you want to be able to provide that type of training and that type of awareness to the users, even to things such as specific like HIPAA or GDPR, which is the European HIPAA, of course, being the medical laws here in America, and GDPR being the data privacy laws in Europe. Just giving that basic introduction to the users of, hey, this is the things that are required for us to maintain our data. We're able to help those safety officers and those CISOs perform those types of tasks.
Yeah, you do such a great job. We only have cut out a certain amount of time for you. I know I'm going to bring you back on the show. There's so much to unpack. Austin, I mean,
yes,
you walk the walk and talk the talk. For the people watching the show, before we started the interview, Austin had his camera covered up and he had to unlock the camera. I mean, this is a guy that takes safety to the highest level. Now, one thing that you become known for at gTECHserv that I'm very impressed with is, when problems happen, I mean, they can happen at 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. Mm-hmm. And you've become known, and your team has become known for being very responsive 24 hours a day. I mean, how do you manage something like that with your team?
Yeah. So, our team, you mentioned earlier that we're a veteran-owned business. Over 50% of our staff are veterans. That extreme ownership that is instilled in that community of not only the successes, but the issues as well. That our team, I can't ask for a better team. And the people that we bring on, our hiring process is more intensive than I'd say than most companies, especially during this the post-pandemic hiring craze. But we still take a long time ensuring that every team member that we bring on is bought into our philosophy, which is our customers. We treat our customers as though we are their IT department. We treat our customers as though if a CEO calls us at 2 o'clock in the morning, it would be the same if it was your direct boss calling you saying, hey, this is a major issue. This issue is down and we're going to jump on that. In addition to that, it's been easy because we do have some DoD law enforcement contracts where, they never stop. They're 24 hours a day. So being able to ensure that our teams and our systems are always monitored and maintained is incredibly important, and it's very rewarding to ensure that to provide that level of service and get those customers back up and running in a timely manner. As far as 24 hours a day service, we all US based support. We just have great team of guys that are rotating through. And our tool sets are alerting and maintaining and monitoring and alerting us before those issues are causing downtime. So if an alert comes in at 2 o'clock in the morning and if a server's down, our team's going to be working on that immediately. And before that 8 o'clock rolls around, we're either going to have a resolution or the company's going to be notified and a team member is going to be rolling out being on site. So.
Yeah, that's great. It's a great process because your tool sets identify the problems before they happen. That's what it's all about. Now,
absolutely.
Let's get into entrepreneurship a little bit because, we have younger entrepreneurs watching the show. Of course, they're going to be probably today facing a problem. All entrepreneurs do. But for the younger entrepreneurs watching the show, they're facing a roadblock, a problem, a pothole in the road. Austin, what type of advice can you give sort of to the younger entrepreneurs that are facing a difficult time on how to keep on pushing past those tough times and coming out the other side, feeling good that they actually solved a big problem?
Yeah, I would say that getting up to date on the cybersecurity regulations of each of your states enables you and gives you a competitive edge in the end markets. So being able to say that you're compliant with the California data privacy laws or the Virginia data privacy laws or if you're looking at becoming, in a niche field like the manufacturing plant being ISO or financial sector being SOC 2 certified. So being able to say that you have these types of cybersecurity certifications behind your network and behind your solution is a great way to give your business a competitive edge. And then really just, for any entrepreneur, it's, you don't want to work at 8 to 5, so you go work 24 hours a day for yourself, right? Finding that thing that you're passionate about, and being able to build a network of people around you that the things that you're weak in, the areas where you might not have time or even the passion to focus on, to find resources, find tools, find other entrepreneurs to say, hey, you do this really well. Can you handle this for me? And this is what I do really well. And let me handle this for you. And just building that network and building those partnerships together is incredibly important. So.
Yeah, I love it. Of course, you mentioned get that competitive edge. And for the people watching the show, rewind what Austin just said. That's some great advice. Listen, this has been a very quick 30 minutes. I mean, it's down by. We need to bring you back on the show. I want to sort of investigate a little bit more what you're doing. But look, when we talk about code management environments, enterprise class tools, all of your probes and your tool sets, the GFactor Pro, I mean, you're on top of it. So this has been a great interview. Of course, we're going to put the links at the bottom of the interview. Take advantage of this free report that Austin and his team provide with finding out whether your data has been sold on the dark web. I mean, that's got to be a very interesting free report, and it's such a sort of value add that you offer. The testimonials are incredible, Austin. Congratulations to you and your team at gTECHserv, and thanks so much for coming on the .com Magazine Entrepreneur Spotlight Series today.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.